Well, hello and welcome to today's show. Today we're going to mount some handle pulls on some virgin cabinets. So let's roll, title, roll. So what we've got here is an arch pull, and these are not particularly cheap. You can find them in stainless, true stainless. You can find them in a zinc that has been treated somehow. You know, I don't know what that, but you can pay 20 bucks a handle. These are not quite that much, they're a little less than half. But I like an arch pull. And you say, well, why in the world do you like an arch pull in particular in this case? Well, first of all, the Euro pulls, the bar pulls, or the rod pulls, whatever you want to call them, they're hit a stride right now. They're very trendy. Now, the problem I have with those are, I have a small island. This is an auxiliary kitchen, as I said, for a small business. So I don't have a lot of room to play around with. And downstairs in the main kitchen, for years and years and years, I have knobs, even though I told my contractor, no knobs, pulls, and he put knobs in. And they catch on my cargo pants. Now I know those are not trendy either, but they are functional, and I already have plenty of those. So the problem is they can catch your apron, they can catch your clothes. I just don't particularly care for them. I've seen people put them on cabinets, and then when they are in the upright position, they make a real handy place to just hang up, just a slightly damp rag on. And I don't like to see that in you know, a professional looking kitchen. I want it bright, I want it light, I want to be able to see any kind of dirt that I have, and so that's the reason behind this design. Now, you can't really go wrong with stainless steel, and not at least for the next couple of 30 years or so. Now it may go away and come back. We're seeing some trends come back, like the green kitchens that we finally got rid of that came out of the 30. Now they're going to be trends. But that's the thing. Whenever you look at like Gnome and Harden TV and all your realtor people, and they run around and tell you what's really trendy, all they know is what people are building, and people buy what people build. Now you have some choice. Now one of the things about this kind of stuff is it's not all that expensive. So if your buyer wants something with more splash or panache or whatever you want to call it, they can remodel the kitchen themselves. But you want it to be clean and neat, because a dirty kitchen, an old knackered looking kitchen, won't sell. A clean looking kitchen, even if they don't like the style, will. So that's what we got going on. We're going to mount these on virgin cabinets. Now I talk a little bit in my videos because what I'm doing is I'm taking you inside the mind of someone thinking about doing this, because some of the questions I talk about may answer something or even bring up a question you hadn't really considered. So let's get to it. Be patient with the video, because there are tons of videos that show you about 5 seconds how to use a jig, and they walk away and you're like, well, okay, that looks okay, until you sit down and try to do it yourself. So hold on, we're gonna get busy. Well, today's plan is to mount some door hardware. I have a couple different sizes here. I have 4 little ones for the tiny doors so that it doesn't look ridiculous. The standard size that I plan on using on just about everything, and a couple of big ones. Now I have a bit of an odd angle shot, but you get an idea. These are 39-inch cabinets. They go to the ceiling. We have a short cabinet over here. We have 2 of these type of sizes, one over the microwave, one right here, and they will get a shorter handle. Now, to be honest, nobody's going to get in this cabinet anyway, unless they have a step stool. It's deep, and it's, you know, full 24 inches of cabinet, so it goes way on back. So if I put it real high, it really wouldn't make a bit of difference, because you're not getting in there anyway. It's just how will it look. Now I have another size, the main run, because the cabinets are so tall, I've gone with a larger, longer type of handle pull here. Nice, high, easy to get the old fingers in between there. That's important to me. May not be for you if you have small fingers, but where do I put this? So if I take it in that direction, it's going to be 2 inches, so we can pick an inch for the center line of the handle. Now where do we put it as far as we go up here? Conventional wisdom says you can put it anywhere you want. You can put it right in that joint, you can drop it down, which I think that would look really goofy. You can take it up. As higher up as you go, the more difficult the upper cabinets, the short cabinets will be, and the cabinets below when we reach down to get them. Now you're going to bend down regardless, and you're going to have to get a step stool to go up above regardless. So it's not that critical. The point is, where do you want it to be? Conventional wisdom does lean a little bit toward 2.5 to 3 inches up. Well, if I can get this here and still keep it in camera, here's the handle that, if I go 3.5, I think it looks quite good. Some people may say it looks a little bit high. If I drop it down to 3, about 3 1/4, whoop, get it back up there again. It's going to be somewhere around here. And I do like that if I don't get them perfect, I need them most perfect beside each other. A little less perfect cabinet to cabinet. But the jig should take care of that. And if I put it at 3 inches, that's down about here. That may be high enough to keep it off of that corner and still facilitate the very tall uppers and the under counter door. So I think I'll put that at about 3 inches. If I put it about 2.5, it'll come down to the edge, which wouldn't be bad. I just want to make sure that the bottom of this little radius isn't up a little bit on one door and down a little bit on another door, because with this horizontal line coming across here, this vertical placement is going to be quite obvious. So I think I'm going to go 3 inches up and give it a little bit of a space up underneath there. Now here we are at the jig. This is, what brand is this? It was bought off the internet, a King & Charles, and I think it actually has some issues. Now I've got it set up according to the guide here at 1 inch, and I have measured it with some calipers. You may not have calipers. This is not that precision of work that you need them. But one of the things I do like to do is verify the holes here. These are import, and so they may not actually be what they say they are in the link. So to make them work, I make sure that I can put the screws through the guide holes. They're a little sleeved guide. I'll put it here a little bit more in camera. See that? There we go. We have the screws poking through it. They flow easily. Thing is, when I translate to these numbers on this side, they don't match up to what they should. So I use the calipers to judge this right here, the handles, individual handles. So I've got a handle that's going to fit. And I am using the layoff line, the little white line that's here, to the edge of this. Again, I use the calipers to get that 3 inches. You may also use a tape measure. It's up to you. And again, as long as they're uniform and to the same position, they're not likely to look sloppy. Now you may not like their final position, but that's okay. And again, I want the handles a little far up on the door so that I don't have this edge right at the bottom rail, because that's where they're really going to look a little strange now if they don't all match up. So let's put them on. And you may not like them. You may say, well, it really needs to be closer to the corner on all the doors, and that's okay, because if you have a virgin cabinet, you can put them at 3.5. You can put them at 3 inches, 3 1/4, 2 3/4, 2.5. You can put them wherever you want them to be. If you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you. Thank you. Well, now this is a pull-out rubbish bin, so it's a drawer versus a small drawer. It's just a lower drawer that looks like a door, a cabinet door. So we have a larger pull for it to go here. It's going to be horizontal. We're going to go in 1 inch from the edge, but we need to know now where center is, because we have to set the jig separately. So what do we got here? See if I can pull this in a little bit closer to frame. What it has, if it shows up, is 14 5/8. So what's half of 14 5/8? Half of 14 is 7 plus 5/16. So that's going to be our center. We're going to mark it across the blue tape with an ink pen in a square, and then we'll know where the center of the handle is. Now this is the jig set up for that large handle for the rubbish bin. Now what we've done is we've tried to find a center with it, and we see we've got a little bit of movement to it, and that puts it at an 8 on the centimeter side and an 8 on the centimeter side. So we should be centered on the jig, and the jig of course is sitting at the 1 inch mark or the centimeter mark, so we should be centered that way. We haven't changed the ratio that we've done before on the door, so this should be 1 inch away from the handle. So we ought to be able to put it in the rail, the same place we had it in the style. Now I have this the same as previous. We just measured
our center, put this blue tape in. I have the handle that goes in here. It's loose, it'll fit. And we have it set at 6.4 centimeters from the center out. So we know that the jig is centered. We haven't changed this from the lower where we've done that. So we'll take this off, and to double check it, we'll take this without the bracket on here, without this handle on here. We'll put a ink mark here, and if we have it center of the drawer, when we put it on this side, back on the back side up, it should be center again, because we're going to replicate this distance on all of the drawers. Now there are the two proof marks, so we are centered in the space. Well, I'm on the handheld right now, and we're going to start with a walk around, and there you see a very plain, very simple island that we are constrained by 36-inch minimum distance on having overhang, else that'd be a little bit prettier. But you see we got two drawers and of course two doors. Now on the other side, starting with the rubbish bin, we got the two horizontal. And there are ways, if you have the shaker front type doors and drawers, you might just have them in that top rail like that. So I got two different sizes just to make it more distinctive. Of course, a dishwasher, typical sink base, nothing special there. If we go back up to the top, over the microwave, I need to get rid of that blue tape. I got to paint that ceiling, touch that up right there. But that is the small pair over the microwave, one of the two small pairs, the regular size, the 5-inch right there on those upper cabinets. If we swing around to this side, we see we have the other small pair up there above the refrigerator, and that's just to keep it from looking quite so much handle on such a short door, and that makes it look more normal. But if I didn't point it out to you, would you notice it? So all the rest of them are regular size handles, except for that end drawer cabinet under the wall oven. Now what we had right there, trying to get that to show up, so we got about a third and a third with a little bit on each side to make it look pretty normal. That is a bigger cabinet on that side, so that's got the 6 3/4 there. So anyway, that is the little walk around. It's just a concept of using different size handles in different locations, because like I say, they're a pretty large handle to start with. Got good relief to get your hand underneath them. They're nice and wide, so you get a little bit of color off of them, if you call stainless a color, but there it is.
Well, you'll have to forgive me on this wrap up. It'll be a little bit long, but it's important because I'm going to show you something that didn't go perfectly according to plan. Actually, it went according to plan, but there was something I didn't plan on, and that's what this little tail end is here for. Now, as far as where we placed them, standard thing for so many different types of layouts, we put the handles in the middle of the drawer. This is a 6-inch drawer. Down below are two 12s. Should be no problem. Right? It's just going to work out beautifully. We use the same height off of the drawer, the top of the drawer, like we did on every other drawer. These work beautiful. We get down to the last 4 drawers. And here's the thing we ran into. Measuring the drawers, they're both 12-inch drawer fronts, and they both have like a 7-inch deep drawer. So we looked at the first, all right, measured it out. They look uniform because we have 12 front, 7 whatever it is drawer in and behind it. And if we take that same jig and put it down on this one, and we use the same measurements left and right, we get the handles in the spot we wanted. This one, this drawer, because it's a drawer, is 6-inch, it goes through both the drawer front and the drawer itself on the inside, the 2 thicknesses. This one, we're using that same height, just broke beautifully inside just of the drawer front. And as you see, they're at the same height off of the top. The bottom drawer is where I got caught with something I hadn't anticipated. 7-inch drawer, same drawer size, same drawer front. But what they did is that drawer front is actually dropped down because it covers that bottom of the cabinet. And what that does is it cuts down on the space where this goes before the drawer starts. And drilling the holes, you know, you get a kind of a rhythm. This doesn't take long to put these in. Once you get your jig set up and you've got them torqued down nice and tight, it just doesn't take that long to locate your horizontals. drill your holes, put the handles on, move to the next one, locate the handle, drill the holes, put the handles on. Worked beautifully until the bottom 2 drawers, because right at the edge of that drawer height was about where those screws are. So the screws hit both pieces, missed the drawer, and just caught the edge of the drawer below on the lower 2 drawers. And it made a little ugly spot because drilling perfectly into it, or I do it sideways, drilling perfectly into it, it just happened to skim the top of the drawer itself, and there was a little spot where the holes broke through the top of it. Looked ugly with the screws, handle screws. Now, I could have cheated that maybe just down a cat's hair and you'd never notice that they were in a different position. I didn't, and I wouldn't have done that. What I've had done is kind of something I did on the last drawer drilled, because there is a little bit of a play in the jig, and you can hold that jig super straight, and if you know about it, you can cock that drill to get that path to go down deeper on the back side. So I did this one. This one I had to repair with a little piece of trim strip across the top so it wouldn't be noticeable. Not a big deal, but something I didn't plan on. And of course I put one on that side just to kind of make them balance out. So there is value in finding things that don't go perfectly right for you. And there's value to the community if you'll share that a little bit. Like I said, everything on the entire handle or pool installation worked beautifully just as we planned. One simple little missed observation, which is these have the same drawers, the same drawer fronts, but they're positioned a little differently, and going off the top like I did here makes them all look beautiful on the outside, but I didn't know that it was that tight, so I didn't angle that drill down like I could have, and I'd avoided having to cut the little trim strip. So that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope that's worth it to you, and I wish you the best of luck on your project. If you don't have drawers, big drawers like this on the bottom, you'll never see it. It's a simple thing to do. Just pulls on the doors and center the slab if that's what you choose to do. Or you could do the other thing. These behind me are panel doors, where you have, in some designs, you might actually have a shaker front drawer, and you can actually put it all in that upper style and keep your handles way up at the top. And that's good for reaching them. I don't like bending over as much, which is why I did this. Center slab is like 3 inches down on this one, 3 inches down on that one. I don't have to bend over as much to grab it. So that's it. Thank you.